Hello, kamusta? My name is Rando and welcome to the very first video review.
赤い色のモビルスーツザクじゃないけど赤い色のモビルスーツ
And today we're going to be doing a video review for the high-grade Universal Century MSM-07S ZGOC, which is a Principality of Xeon Char's custom type. So straight off the bat, this is a high-grade 1/144th scale. This is also a Universal Century kit. This is the very first Universal Century kit that I have built, but this is not the first high-grade model kit that I actually built. So this costed me around 350 pesos, and this is actually one of the biggest high grades that I have built. Not technically not big, but it's bulky. Yeah, it is a bulky looking high grade. And I'll get into the information of a high grade sooner or later. So before we get into the figure, let's get into the box itself. So right over there we got the front cover of the box. So this says that it is the MSM-07S ZGOC, the Principality of Xeon Char's custom type. So a little bit of a heads up here. This is a special variant of the ZGOC that Xeon actually built. This one is specifically built for, as you can see right on the box here, this one is for Char Aznable, which is the main antagonist of the original Gundam show. And let me tell you what, I haven't watched the show yet. So yeah, but this is an interesting model kit, and I told to myself, I guess I could get this and try a little bit of a high-grade Universal Century kit. So Universal Century kit goes a lot since around the year of the 1990s or whatsoever. I'm not really sure into that, but I'll look into that later. This is a very old and very cool looking box. So as you can see right here, let's get into here first. There's a little bit of a picture of the ZGOC, what the ZGOC will look like from the front to the back. We also got a little bit of information here. I can't read Japanese. Some minor detailing about that, about the mobile suit itself. And here we have the side of the box, which says that it is a it's an amphibious mobile suit. So this is much different from any other mobile suits that you would see in the Gundam universe, but not all mobile suits are actually normal in the Gundam universe. Each of them have a different uniqueness that comes up to them. So as more as to the detailed information about the ZGOC, there's much more mechanical detail that the box shows than what they have usually in the other angles. So you get some, I guess those are guns that are on the top of the cockpit or the head of the ZGOC. We got some claw arms. We got also some of the mechanical detail on the feet. As you can see, there are some like those verniers or thrusters, I'm not really sure what to call them, or turbines, since this is an amphibious mobile suit, meaning it can go underwater and such. And then we have those claw arms, that insane articulation, and of course the backpack, which is the water tank or oxygen tank for the ZGOC, or not really sure. I guess that is the boosters for the model kit. And we got some little bit of an information here as well. If you can read that, well, hopefully you can translate it. Let me know what it says in the comments down below. I would really appreciate it. So moving in, let's crack this thing open. Yep. Gotta be careful of that. So when you open the box, you get presented with this instruction manual. So when the front, this ZGOC is actually panel lined and much more detailed than, well, my ZGOC right here. So this ZGOC is actually much more aesthetically enhanced than your usual kind of model kit. And yes, model kits can be modified. You can decorate them, you can paint them, you can panel line them, and I'll get to that in one of my videos soon. So this is the front of the ZGOC. You get an information there that says it is 18.4 meters high. Its weight is 65.1 tons. Total weight is 96.4 tons. and some of those information that I'm not really going to get into that much. So as you can see there, it is a high-grade Universal Century kit, and I was wrong. It was actually a Bandai 2001 model kit, if I'm correct. I'm not actually sure if I'm correct about the details of the timeline of this model kit, but I know for a fact that Universal Century kits date back all around in the 90s. So we got there some few information. I guess it's serial number, and then we also got the Bandai logo. So in the box, so in the back of the instruction manual, you get this the overall look of the Z-Gok when you nipped it out of its nippers and fully built into the Z-Gok itself. So you got some crazy posing there, you got some underwater poses, you can get some of that claw action looking kind of pose, and of course the back detail of the Z-Gok as the manual shows. So there is also a color guide in this manual, which actually shows the color palette that Bandai used for this particular model kit, also including two of the stickers, which we'll get into later. So when you crack this thing open, there are more details in there, and I assume that it points out the important parts of the Z-Gok that I am not really aware of, because I'll be honest, I've never watched the original Gundam show with the Granddaddy Gundam, but I know for a fact that this actually appeared in one scene with the Granddaddy Gundam. And as you can see right there, we got some of that classic blueprint design in some of the parts of the manual. And yeah, it is a very colorful manual, and you can see the age of the model kit because of its design. And cracking it open, you got some instructions that are given to you by the model kit itself, the runners that you're going to be using to build the model kit. So this comes in around total of 4 runners only. This is actually quite one of the high-grade model kits that I have built with less runners. Unlike some of my high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans kit, which I will be reviewing soon if you guys want, this is actually a shorter, simple, but although it is also quite complicated. It's not that simple, and I'll get into that later. So let's set the manual aside. And of course, we got this little bit of how to make Gunpla. So if you buy this particular box from Gunpla Gundam PH in Lazada or Shopee, their boxes come with this kind of paper. So it actually going to be helping you about building a Gundam. So we're not going to get into this, but sooner or later I will be making a tutorial for you guys, or a little bit of a review on how to do such builds. So to build the model kit, you have these plastic pieces called these plastic pieces called the runners. So as I have said before, these runners come in the total of 4. So this is for some I guess this was for the joints. So you have to nip these runners. If you have the proper tools in building a Gundam, you need to nip the pieces off to have a clean looking model kit. So these runners are much thicker looking and much tougher to cut than your ordinary modern high-grade model kits. I haven't built any Build Divers model kits because I stick to the Iron-Blooded Orphans model kit. So let's put that aside. Let's put it right here. And now to the actual figure itself. Now this is a very detailed and very cool looking high-grade 1/144 scale, and as I can tell, this is one of the cheapest that you can actually get. So if you're going to be building like your first ever high-grade model kit, I would suggest that you go for these Universal Century kits. The simple ones. Don't go to the complicated ones like, the Unicorn, some Gundam Unicorn model kits, Zeta Gundam, Gundam Sea, because some of their model kits come for a complicated build, and if you are a beginner Gunpla builder, you don't actually dive into the high grade first, but we'll get to that soon in another video. So moving on to the figure, the painting, the painting is actually, I did not paint this figure, is non-existent, but the sculpting and the actual mold of the model kit is beautiful itself. The colors that Bandai used for this particular model kit, it goes well with each other, and it does reflect on the character or the color preferences of Char Azabel himself. So getting to the head, this is actually a very unique looking model kit, a very unique looking mobile suit. So as you can see, you have a mono iron there, and this unfortunately doesn't move. You can only pose the mono eye like that if you place the sticker of this into any direction of this cockpit or this head part of the mobile suit itself. So not all Gundam model kits actually look normal in more ways than one. Some of them have their own unique kinds of build. So particularly this mobile suit itself, I actually love the design. It kind of looks goofy, but it does reflect that 80s design of the mobile kit itself, mobile suit itself. So viewing the detail parts of the model kit, you got that top part which has some, I think those are kind of like cannon guns, what even is that? But yeah, you got some guns in there, and here's the thing that you guys might notice about this particular model kit. You see this little parts right here? These branching out parts? Yeah, never ever forget to clean your model kits if you have the time. These model kits deserve your unending love and attention and care, because if you do not clean them properly enough, they would not really look good in display unless, you display them far ahead. So for the stickers of this model kit, it is actually not that bad. You only get two stickers on the sticker sheet, which is the mono eye and this white centerpiece for the Z-Gok itself. I don't really know what that is. I'll look into it soon and know more about. Oh gosh, those knob marks are really ugly. So yeah, getting into the basics of high grade model kits. So these guys are simple and easy to assemble. Very detailed, very articulated, but you gotta be cautious when you're cutting these guys away. These snub marks you see, clean them. When you build your high grade or master grade, perfect grade, super deformed, Re 100 or any kind of model kit, don't forget to clean the nub marks, or else you're gonna have an ugly looking mobile suit. But I still love this guy. Even though with the nub marks, it still looks cool. So for the detail of the model kit, we got some vents right here. We pointed it out, and it was pointed out in the manual as a while ago. You got some clean, I think this is some sort of salmon kind of pink or red color on the torso and the head. You got some bluish gray. I don't know if it's kind of bluish, but I don't think the camera can pick it up very clearly. But these arms are actually in a black and gray kind of color. So it does give that very mechanical looking detail on the arms. And of course you got some dark reddish color, scarlet red color on the forearms. I don't know if it's called the forearms because, well, this guy, I can't point out where the elbows are. So you got some red on the forearms, some white on the claws, red on the forelegs. I think these are forelegs, and then the feet. And of course these joints right here, these hips are also in the same color as the arms, which is a very blackish kind of gray. I think it's wolf gray if I'm correct. I'm not really familiar with color palettes. So most of high grade kits, here's a little trivia about this model kit. It doesn't actually come with a bunch of accessories like you would see in any high grade model kits. For those of you who are familiar with high grade model kits, these guys sometimes come with tons and tons of accessories. Some of them don't because, well, if a mobile suit is only as good as itself, it doesn't actually need a bunch of accessories to express itself. So this guy, the only accessories that I can actually kind of point out is these back thrusters or tanks that attach right here. So they are removable, but yeah, I think that is the only accessory that this guy has. So when it comes to articulation, this guy does not disappoint in any high grade standards. So unfortunately, this guy doesn't have any head motion. It doesn't have any swivel, any rotation. As you can tell, as I said before, you can place the mono eye in any direction for the Zigok to look anywhere. So as you can see right here, let's get to the arms first. So it's getting out of focus, I'm sorry. So the arms right here, the shoulders can move in, so it can move in and out. It can actually rotate. That is actually quite a tight rotation. So some of these model kits have very solid kind of builds, and I would not recommend you guys playing with these model kits after you build them, because they get loose over time if you are not careful with the articulation and the posability of these figures. So moving on that, so the shoulders can move out. There is this bend. Actually, there is one. I can't even consider that as a bend. That is a slight of a bend right there. 1, 2, and then 3. That can give the Zigok these kind of poses, like a boastful, victorious kind of pose. So the thing I love about this particular model kit is that its claws are individually articulated. Most of these model kits, most of these high-grade model kits don't actually have articulated fingers, but the Zigok itself is primarily an excuse since it has claws for fingers and it doesn't actually have actual hands. This is a very unique kind of a looking mobile suit. It is much different from any high-grade Universal Century kits. So moving on to the torso, we also got some crunch, some ab crunch, and a little bit of a backward movement, and then we also get a side to side a little bit. And of course, the waist is kind of like being limited by this mold right here, so it only can go side to side. So it has that. Its torso is enough to give the Zigok enough poses if you want to pose your model kits. So the legs can move. So the legs can only move back that far and forward like that. It has a very, very beautiful spread, as you can see. It can actually do a full split if you set the pose, if you pose this figure right. And these hips right here, as you can see, it can actually straighten up or bend out like that. So these are one of the most unique joints I have seen in a model kit. As you can see, the arms right here are all in individual ball joints, but I would not recommend fiddling with them too much. These joints are allowing the arms to be in various different angles and poses that you can pull off this guy with. Of course, you also got some knee bend, and this is actually a very unexpected feature in the model kit when I first built it. It has that knee bend, and it doesn't really bend that far. It's being hindered by some joints inside, and as you can see, it can straighten out, and the feet can point out like that, can bend like that, and you can actually get a decent pivot with this particular model kit. I also forgot to mention, but the hips have a rotation just like the arms and the same articulation as the arms. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. So posability on this guy, I would actually give this around an 8 out of 10. It is not that posable as you would see in any other high-grade model kits, but it is posable enough for you to have fun around with. So definitely I would recommend this high-grade Universal Century model kit if you are a beginner Gunpla builder. It is a fun build, it is a quick build, but it also has that element of complication. So it is not a very, very simple build, which it has a contradiction in my sentence. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video review of the MSM-07S Zigok, and I will see you guys in my next future videos. And if you can, please subscribe to the channel if you like my content. Click the bell for notifications, and I will see you guys in the next video.